welcome back. I'm 𝗤𝗍𝗆 from Mental Health Chats, and the topic for this month is trust, which I am so excited about. And we are looking today at trust as a new manager. And I have got the wonderful Alex Howard with me. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hi, Claire. I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Alex. And I'm based in the UK. You may have noticed that Alex's accent is not from the UK. So would you like to tell everyone where you're based?
Yes, I am based in Canada. I am a Canadian, a Canuck. I'm based in Ottawa, Canada, our capital, our country capital.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. And I can't wait to come and visit you one day. I'm desperate to go to Canada. So I bet you all the listeners and viewers out there are wanting to know who you are and whether or not we can trust you, actually. So who is Alex Howard?
Lots of pressure.
Yeah.
I am a certified transformational life and wellness coach with a focus on resilience and aliveness. And I work with a lot of high-performing men and women and youth, and I equip them with the tools and the wisdom and the positive habits to live vibrantly with flow and ease, independent of circumstance. So that is what I do.
Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that you work with men and women, but also young people who are developing in their roles. So something that I would be really intrigued to find out from you is when people are progressing in their careers, especially progressing in management, they want to get into management. What would you suggest that they do to actually build trust with other people?
That is a very good question. And it's a, trust is a very, it's such an important and powerful experience. And trust is really an inner game. It's really something that you build from the inside and it bleeds out. And one of the things that I've learned myself personally, and that I help younger people in starting out in their careers, it's really the channel that you can practice building this trust is through voice.
Yeah.
And I notice that a lot of times we can feel how much we trust by what comes out of our mouth and what is what is shared and what is not shared and how it's shared. And so, I would say that, the practice of honesty, of building honesty, the practice of clear communication with your team, with others, the practice of taking responsibility is another one that's a big one. And then the practice of really acknowledging, and I know this one sounds a little bit funny and like, does it really belong in the bucket of trust? But it really does, because I think when we acknowledge and we celebrate and we make that part of our practice of building trust, I think that's also a really important aspect to be focusing on, not only on the things that are going wrong, but the things that are really going well.
Yeah.
An enormous amount of trust.
You've hit two really interesting things there. So first of all, the things that are going wrong, we all make mistakes. And one of the tips when I was first in my career from my manager was, if you make a mistake, all I want you to do is put your hand up and say, I did that. How are we going to solve it? So that's great. And I do it. I make mistakes now. I'm with my team now. I say, look, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Let's move on. Let's find a solution for this. So the second thing is when you said what's going well, and what I find with management is so often we're honing in on the bad, the bad, the bad. How can we improve? How can we improve? And we don't actually focus on giving feedback of specifically what's going well. We might say, we did a great job this week. But if we can focus on specifically what's going well, and then specifically what we can improve on, it's actually been proven by science that people make more adjustments. So I love that of let's celebrate, because so often we don't celebrate the good. And, you know, I've just had a conversation with my husband where we're talking to our kids about certain things in the house. And, you know, we always think as parents even about consequences. And we said, well, let's look at positive consequences too. What about when they're doing things really well? What can we give them as a positive?
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you put yourself in the shoes of a new manager, and I've been a new manager back in the day, you know, there are two things that come forward for me. The first thing is you want to be liked.
Yes.
And the second thing is you don't want to screw up.
Yeah.
Those are the two big motivators when you come in, right? You want people to like you and you don't want to screw up. And so we have to really, to build trust, like you have to really keep those two things in check, because they can drive you in a direction that perhaps is not so much from the inside out and more from the outside in.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're driven by external factors and external circumstances, and you're doing and saying things that you think everybody wants you to say, but not what you're really feeling. And I used to have that experience all the time. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I would say something completely differently than what I was actually feeling and thinking on the inside.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that is the biggest thing I think to watch out for as a new manager, is to notice, when are you saying something differently than what you're feeling and thinking on the inside? Definitely. Right? Which is why I think voice is such an important channel to pay attention to.
Yeah. Because
I think for new managers, voice is a very hard thing to cultivate, especially in a way that is aligned and attuned with what you feel is right and true. And remember, a new manager, you're hired for a reason. So there is trust. Somebody is trusting you to do the job. You already have cultivated trust. So as a new manager, don't forget that. There's already trust embedded in the agreement. So leverage that and then build that trust from the inside out, and really connect to, what are the agreements? What are the agreements that you're going to have with your team? What are the expectations that you're going to set? I also find that sometimes where we break down, especially as a new manager, is understanding the ways in which people share and process information.
Definitely.
And there's such a value, there's so much value in understanding how we each process and share information. And if you know that and you understand that from each person, and you take the time right off the bat to go, what do you need in order to make a decision? What do you need? Tell me what that looks like. Do you need lead time? Do you need visuals? Do you need research? Do you need summations? What is it that you need? And then I'll tell you what I need in order to make decisions. And so have this clear rules of engagement between each party in the team. And all of a sudden there's a respect for everybody's different style. And there's a clarity around how we're going to engage with each other. And I often find that some of the breakdowns happen is when we don't know how somebody needs to receive information. And how somebody actually is also delivering it. So there's a lot of ambiguity in there. And if you remove ambiguity, you just naturally build trust. You naturally build healthy respect and a trust and a calmness and a collaboration and all those beautiful words that we use. So I feel like that is something that feels very alive for me. Talk about trust and cultivate it.
Oh, wow. You have said so much, Alex. And when you were talking then, I was thinking, And also we need to, as new managers, especially trust ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't trust ourselves. We're not going to, nobody else is going to trust us.
Yeah.
We're not going to get
Yeah.
trust from other people.
Yes.
So what I would love, Alex, because you've said so many good points, can we just bring this all together and give everybody your top 3 tips for new managers, especially, of how to build trust?
Okay. Number 1 is be clear.
Yeah.
Establish your rules of engagement with your team.
Yep. Excellent.
Okay. So know what each one needs, know what they are, how they take information, how to deliver information. Give them a template if you need to. Just here's what it looks like to interact with me at my highest level. So that would be the first thing. Keeps everybody honest. It keeps you in alignment. The second thing is as a new manager, I think it's really important to take responsibility. You know, put your hand up when something doesn't go well and doesn't go according to your plan. It is okay to make mistakes. We learn in the mistakes. That's where we learn. We build trust in the mistakes. So allow your team, allow yourself, give yourself grace to make mistakes, and know that everybody on planet Earth makes mistakes, and it is okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's the second one, is that taking that responsibility and putting your hand up. And the third thing I would say is to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Is right off the bat, acknowledge and celebrate your team. Have a bi-weekly gaps and gains meeting, or whatever you want to call it, where you sit down and you see the big picture, and it's one big experience.
Yeah.
Right. Set that context right off the bat, and acknowledge and celebrate all the wonderful things that have happened, and allow the things that haven't gone well to inform what you're going to do differently. So we bring the whole experience together as one experience, not this has gone well and this has not gone well, and they're two separate things. It's all the same thing. So cultivate that full experience where we allow it all to be one experience that we can learn and grow from and move forward from. And your team is going to feel so held and so much more motivated and passionate about what they're doing, because there's context. There's always context, and there's a celebration around what they have done. So I would say those are the 3 things.
Love it. Absolutely love it, Alex. Thank you so much for your wise words. You've been so inspiring. So I'm sure there are a lot of listeners out there who would love to find you and talk to you, to be inspired and feel alive. So where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on mindmoodalive.com. So that is where I have all my information. You can go on there, mindmoodalive.com. And from there, you can access all my socials, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, and read more about the work I do and my offerings. So
absolutely brilliant. Thank you for your wise words, and thank you for your time, and thank you for helping us to feel alive and learn how to trust. Take care.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Claire, for having me.